I'll take a punch and let you land one.
I'll do the same. Got your back, brother.
And I got yours. Let's go and plug this sumbitch. From Los Angeles all the way to Japan, you're getting ready to get your monkey ass whooped by The Rock and the Man. To do a second installment of this intro for the very special $7 moment. You don't want none of that. You ain't gonna fight The Rock, boy.
One of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not gonna be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens. You feel like you're alone.
Dwayne Johnson is one of the most recognizable figures in the world today, but his journey to the top was anything but easy. Known as The Rock in wrestling and now a global superstar in Hollywood, Johnson has built a reputation not only as an entertainer, but also as a savvy businessman and one of the most inspiring success stories of modern times. His empire is now worth billions, but his path began with broken dreams, empty pockets, and relentless determination. This is the story of how Dwayne Johnson went from being broke to becoming a billionaire, and the lessons hidden within his remarkable journey.
In this world of MMA, it's not about the wins, it's about the pressure too.
Early struggles and a family of fighters. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born in 1972 in Hayward, California, into a family of wrestlers. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a professional wrestler, and his grandfather, Peter Mavia, was also a wrestling legend. Wrestling was in his blood, but Dwayne's early years were filled with instability. His family often struggled financially, moving frequently as his father chased wrestling opportunities across North America. Johnson later confessed that they were evicted from apartments more than once, and there were times when they could not even afford basic living expenses. Despite the glamorous image of professional wrestling, his family lived through poverty, giving Dwayne an early understanding of struggle and resilience. At school, Johnson often felt like an outsider. Moving constantly meant he had to adapt to new environments and often had run-ins with the law during his teenage years. He admitted that by the time he was 17, he had already been arrested multiple times for petty crimes such as fighting and theft. These troubled years could have derailed his future, but they planted the seeds of change. Johnson realized he needed discipline and direction, which he found through sports. Football dreams and crushing defeat football became Dwayne's ticket out of hardship. He earned a scholarship to play football at the University of Miami, one of the top college football programs in the United States. Johnson was a standout defensive lineman and had dreams of playing in the NFL. In 1991, he was part of the Miami Hurricanes team that won the national championship. On the surface, everything looked promising, but behind the scenes, injuries and strong competition limited his playing time. After college, Johnson declared for the NFL draft but was not picked. Instead, he signed with the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League. His football career, however, ended in disappointment. Just 2 months into the season, he was cut from the team. At that point, he had just $7 in his pocket and no clear path forward. That memory of having only $7 to his name would later become the inspiration for his company, $7 Productions. It was one of the lowest moments in his life, and he admitted that he felt like he had failed not only himself, but also his family. Turning to wrestling with no money and no football career, Johnson returned to what he knew best, wrestling. At first, he was reluctant, having seen his father's struggles with the industry. But with encouragement and training, he entered the world of professional wrestling under the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE. Initially, he debuted as Rocky Maivia, a combination of his father's and grandfather's ring names. However, fans were not impressed. They booed him, chanting "Rocky sucks" at arenas across the country. This was another crushing blow. Johnson confessed that he considered quitting wrestling altogether. Instead, he reinvented himself, adopting the persona of The Rock. This character was brash, confident, and witty, and it allowed Johnson to showcase his natural charisma. The reinvention worked. Fans began to embrace him, and he quickly rose to superstardom. As The Rock, Johnson became one of the most electrifying entertainers in wrestling history. He won multiple championships and headlined some of the biggest events in WWE history. More importantly, he built a personal brand based on charisma, energy, and catchphrases that became part of pop culture. Wrestling gave him fame and fortune, but Johnson was determined to aim higher. Breaking into Hollywood. While still wrestling, Johnson began exploring opportunities in acting. His first major role came in The Mummy Returns in 2001, where he played the Scorpion King. The role was small, but it was impactful enough to land him his own spin-off, The Scorpion King. That film made headlines not only for Johnson's performance, but also because he earned $5.5 million for his first leading role, a record at the time for a debut actor. The transition from wrestling to acting is notoriously difficult. Many wrestlers have tried, but few succeeded. Johnson, however, was different. He applied the same discipline he learned from wrestling and football to Hollywood. He worked on improving his craft, choosing diverse roles, and gradually building a reputation as more than just an action star. From comedies like The Game Plan to blockbusters like Fast and Furious, Johnson proved his versatility. Over time, his film choices became smarter and more strategic. Joining the Fast and Furious franchise transformed him into one of the highest-grossing actors in Hollywood. Movies like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Moana cemented his appeal across different audiences, from families to global fans. Johnson went from a wrestler turned actor to one of the most bankable stars in the industry. Entrepreneurial ventures, Dwayne Johnson's journey from broke to billionaire, is not just about wrestling and movies. It is about building businesses. His entrepreneurial spirit turned him from a star into a mogul. After his football career ended, the company produces films, television shows, and digital content. It has been behind some of Johnson's biggest hits, including Ballers, Jumanji, and Jungle Cruise. This move allowed Johnson not only to act, but also to control and profit from the content he produced. In addition to film production, Johnson entered the fitness and lifestyle space. He partnered with Under Armour to launch Project Rock, a line of apparel, shoes, and gear that became a massive success. His brand embodies discipline, hard work, and resilience, qualities that resonate with millions of fans. Perhaps his most surprising and lucrative venture is Teremana Tequila. Johnson launched the tequila brand in 2020, and it quickly became one of the fastest-growing celebrity alcohol brands in history. By 2023, it was valued at billions of dollars, contributing significantly to Johnson's net worth. He confessed that Teremana was not just about business. It was about creating a product with authenticity and quality, which reflected his personal values. Discipline and work ethic. Johnson's success is built on relentless discipline and work ethic. He is famous for his early morning workouts, often starting his day at 4 a.m. His dedication to fitness is not just about looking the part for movies. It is a lifestyle that symbolizes consistency and determination. He often shares his workouts and motivational messages on social media, inspiring millions to adopt healthier habits and stronger mindsets. This discipline extends to his career. Johnson is known for being one of the hardest working actors in Hollywood, juggling multiple films, television appearances, and business ventures simultaneously. His mantra, blood, sweat, and respect, encapsulates his philosophy that success is earned through effort and perseverance, failures and reinvention. What makes Johnson's journey inspiring is not that it was smooth, but that it was filled with failures and reinventions. He failed in football, was rejected as a wrestler, and faced skepticism as an actor.
This idea and this notion that you can be anything you want, you can accomplish anything you want, right? We hear that. You've heard that from the time you were little boys.
Yet each failure became fuel for his next reinvention. Johnson confessed that those moments of being broke, humiliated, or doubted were what gave him the drive to succeed. His ability to adapt and reinvent himself at each stage of his career is a critical lesson. From football player to wrestler, from wrestler to actor, and from actor to entrepreneur, Johnson has proven that identity is not fixed. It is built through persistence and reinvention, philanthropy and giving back. Dwayne Johnson's story is not only about making billions, but also about giving back. He has donated millions to charities, supported children's hospitals, and funded scholarships. In 2006, he and his ex-wife, Dani Garcia, established the Dwayne Johnson Rock Foundation, which focuses on children's health and self-esteem. Johnson often emphasizes gratitude, crediting his family and fans for his success. This humility and generosity have made him not just a star, but a role model. The billion-dollar status. By the early 2020s, Dwayne Johnson had officially joined the ranks of billionaires. His wealth comes from a combination of acting salaries, production company profits, business ventures, and endorsements. He is consistently ranked as one of the highest-paid actors in the world, with some years bringing in over $80 million in income. His tequila brand, Under Armour line, and film projects make him a diversified businessman whose empire extends far beyond the screen. But Johnson's billionaire status is not just about money, it is about influence. He is one of the most followed people on social media, with hundreds of millions of fans worldwide. His ability to connect with audiences, motivate them, and sell products is unmatched. His journey from $7 to billions has become a symbol of what is possible with resilience, discipline, and vision. The story of Dwayne Johnson is one of transformation, resilience, and determination. He went from being a young man with only $7 in his pocket to building an empire worth billions. Along the way, he failed, reinvented himself, and worked harder than anyone else in the room. His life shows that success is not a straight line. It is a series of rises, falls, and reinventions. What makes his story even more powerful is that he has remained humble and connected to his roots. He never forgets the pain of being broke, the lessons of his family, and the struggles of his early years. Those memories fuel him to this day, pushing him to new heights. Dwayne Johnson's journey is proof that being broke does not define your future. It defines your resilience. And resilience, when combined with discipline and vision, can transform even the darkest setbacks into the brightest triumphs. From broke to billionaire, his journey is not just inspiring, it is legendary.